Akello, Alison, Mary. Welcome to the world of the Iteso, the place where I'm going to show you and we're going to explore the foods of the Iteso, the few foods that I have managed to acquire while at home. Erale malakang le tono tai, akolong, lu, erasimare. Imare are seeds from Ebo. Ebo is a traditional meal in Teso land. These are seeds that we used to plant the Ebo, but also from the Ebo we get back the seeds. Iko to jaipo imare, iriei jokesi, daipo bale magira. And in English they are called black-eyed beans. That one I am sure of. And then next, what we know as tamarind. Orotai apedur tusema ipo atapa na choko araiba makuma nualos. Here I've seen in Kampala they use it to make tamarind juice, and it also works as medicine sometimes. Of recent I've learned that it works as medicines, so people usually make juice out of it. They blend the whole of it with the seeds and they make medicine out of it. And they can drink it. You can drink it as juice, anything. It's really tasty. Then next, achok. Enyarita ike samukeke. When they have dried them, it's samukeke. But when it is sweet potatoes that are got from the garden, fresh sweet potatoes, we call them achok. But when they are dried, amukeke. We use this for breakfast. You can make various meals from it. You can use odi. Odi is nuts which are grinded or pounded. Usually they're used for breakfast or lunch when people go to the garden and they feel like they can't come back to eat very simple food like what we usually do, like bread. They make amukeke. Then we go to nuts. Nuts are grown in the land of the Iteso. Emaido. Yes, Iteso. Emaido. Emaido is used for making different meals from the Teso. First of all, they can be eaten. You can make them with salt. I work at munyo, danyam, like a normal snack. You can find in supermarkets their nuts with their salted nuts. They can eat them like that, or they make a paste out of them. These days there are machines. A long time ago, our parents used to use ekisu, something called ekisu. Ekisu in English is a mortar. I can show you ekisu. Ekisu is a mortar. They used to use it to grind the nuts a long time ago, but these days we have machines. So the machines made our work simpler by grinding the nuts to the point where they're like this. So these are used to these nuts that are grinded. Nyarita iso odi. Emaidongol. Emaidolo. Pedori say to soma. Nipene ipoije dia emagira. Ipoije malakang. Ipoije mbo. Ipoije amukeke. Ipoije chadoi. Akiringida. Ne towoni tai. Right there, here on this fire, I'm trying to dry meat that I'm going to prepare as my traditional dish. This meat here, I'm going to cook it with something called akoboko. Akoboko is like a local cucumber. You can mix it with meat and then you paste, or you can make the meat alone and you paste it. So it's a very traditional meal. And also I had forgotten to tell you that there is something called emuna. Emuna is a dish. It's a very traditional dish that you make. In fact, when you have guests or visitors, you're hosting them at your place and you don't have emuna, you're not considered a traditional artisan. As a woman, as a wife, you have to know how to make emuna. Emuna is a dish made out of ghee, akinyeta naiteng, araibo, akungurut. Akungurut araiba akinyeta naiteng. You mix akungurut or ghee with the odi, and then you make a paste out of it. It's very tasty with atapa. Atapa is a food that is made, it's mingled like posho, but you make it's cassava and millet mixed together. Sometimes we can grind the amukeke. We can grind the amukeke to make flour. That flour, we call it atapa nachok. Alison nachok. Then from Alison nachok, we make atapa nachok. When you're making atapa nachok, it's very vital that you must have tamarind, araibo, apedur. You must have apedur. So we're going to move over to the greens. We're going to move over to the greens. This is local ghee. We are moving over to the fresh greens. I plucked some fresh greens, for example, to show what our local greens look like, the local vegetables that we eat. I have here with me ebo. I think ebo is famous. Ebo is very famous here. Ebo. Usually when you're making ebo, you must have alilot. Alilot and ebo go together with abalang. Abalang is made from aboga nikukwa. You get the stems of the abalang and you dry them and then you burn them. That's how you make the abalang. When you're cooking the ebo, and also this ebo can be dried. When you dry it, it will be like this. That is preservation of food. You preserve it and it will stay for a very long time, 6 months, 1 year, it's still there. And that is how they preserve food in Teso land. When you're making that, that's how you make the ebo. You boil water, you add abalang, you put the greens a little bit in the sunshine. They call it, put it out in the sunshine so that erinyorebo. Do jaipo. Ayata ina kipi ne kula utos. Do jaipo. Dayatakine maido. Because maido. Odi. So as you've noticed that odi is very important for us. It's almost like every food has a maido. Every food for us has a maido. And it's very, very vital. This is called ewodo. This is ewodo. Ewodo, you can mix it with echadoi. You can mix ewodo with echadoi. Echadoi has white flowers like this. This is how I usually identify it. It has white flowers like this. And then you can also mix this echadoi with something called adararash. Araibo, emoros. These are things that help this echadoi to soften and taste very nice. And also taste a little bit bitterish. When you're cooking echadoi, you have to add akilenwa dwarak. When we are making akilenwa dwarak, sour milk, or what we call in English buttermilk, sour milk, when you're making it in ateso, akilenwa dwarak, we put spoiled milk in this etuo. In this etuo. When you put the sour milk, we usually put a comb of maize, or we put here like a dried cassava, and then we tie it on a tree and we swing like that, so that the milk shakes and it makes ghee. That is how we make ghee, cow ghee. So that's the use of this. And then we have amot. Amotina. A long time ago, traditionally, now these are modernized. A long time ago, we had pots that we used to use for cooking. They used to work like pressure cookers. Pressure cookers cook food very fast, so does this pot. That is why we have this pot in this house. In this house of ours, we observe tradition. So we use this pot to cook different local foods or even normal food because it cooks food very fast. It was locally used as a pressure cooker. It cooks very fast. Put it on firewood and you're able to cook and eat very tasty food. This is the sour milk that I have for now, that I used to cook. The echadoi, ewodo. Even you can put it in a malaka. or even you can use fresh milk for emanaka. All these foods here can be preserved, and this can last you a year. The meat can take you 6 months, the egg can take you a year. All these foods here last a very long time. I think that is why usually it's not very common that you have famine in Teso land, but usually when you have famine, this is what people resort to. They can eat this or a lilot. Kedata. Bukoki ni jakile. Usually when there is famine, they get a lilot. Abuko inakile, danyama kedata. No. You guys should try it. What's that? I want to connect a book. Then I'm going to boil it and make ghee. I have to boil it so that it cooks properly. So when you pour it, it looks like that. So I have to remove some of the milk. I'll just pour it in this dish. But when I'm boiling, it doesn't have the milk in it. So now this ghee, when you're going to make, I want to mix emuna. When you're going to make emuna, you cannot make it with ghee that is not yet cooked. When you've just poured the ghee from the gourd, you cannot simply just mix it with the nuts, emaido, to make emuna. So you first have to boil the ghee on low fire as you mix. To avoid burning, you have to keep mixing it, and it smells delicious already. So you leave it to melt until it boils. It will boil and then the oil will become clear. It will not look like milk. It will be very clear. So this is what it looks like right now. Let's come close. This is what it looks like right now. But when it boils, it's going to be clearer. It's not going to look like it has milk. It's not going to be cloudy. It's going to be clear. As my ghee is boiling, as I told you, I'm going to prepare emuna. I'm preparing a meal, lunch. I'm going to mix them together and prepare it together. So as my ghee is boiling for the emuna, I'm going to be chopping my meat into smaller pieces. When the meat is very dry, you can even just break it into pieces. You don't have to chop with a knife. I think this is done. Then the akobokomb, I'm going to first soak it in some water, some warm water. Some warm water like this. Put that aside, and then also I will also soak the meat. Some water, like to wash. Just like that. You also have to keep stirring so that this oil does not burn. So as you can see, it's getting clearer and clearer as it keeps cooking. So, just like that. It has now become clear, almost ready. So our ghee is ready. Akona kinyete lighting. That's why I'm first putting it aside to cool, then I can start handling it later. So in my pot, tomamotina, bet perenga lotar, denga geun keda bikaini, hakobokob, keda abalang, akula. Then I'll add the meat later. This is my abalang, na daughter na iton. So I'm going to start working on it now. So now, I want to add the lower moto. And add the rena akobokob bed, keda abalang. Then we shall add the meat later. I'm going to first put the akobokob, our dried local cucumber. I'm going to wash it, then put it in this saucepan. First, of course, I'm going to first put water. Then I'll put it on fire. I'll pour abalang. Yes, it's called abalang. So then we shall cover this to boil. So once this oil here, once it cools, under it, usually there is a lot of milk that sticks down. That stick is called emor. Emor is used to make millet porridge, just like you can use apedur. I have soaked my apedur here because later I'm going to mingle atap. So right now I'm placing my akobokobo in my water. Then I'm going to leave it to boil for about 30 minutes before I add the meat to give it time to get ready. It's harder than the meat, so you have to give it time to get ready. It has been 30 minutes, as I told you. So right now, I'm going to wash my meat into this. To mix them. So they now cook together. This is now the meat mixed together with the kobokob in the pot cooking. Now I haven't yet added salt or anything else because if I add salt, the eketara kobokob, so we have to wait for it to soften properly. Kopani eutedi ya jakula akotenga gaun asom emuna. When you're making emuna, because my dolo, so pour the nuts into a dry container or dry bowl according to the amount that you want. Then you add oil as you mix. Let's mix this. So this is what we call emuna. You keep pouring the oil until it is silky. Oliar kwange. That's how you know that the emuna is ready. This emuna can be eaten along with atap, achok, amukeke, anything really. You can add it to anything that you want to eat and it's very tasty. So later, when we keep it in a cold place, of course it's going to solidify. So we are going to serve, we shall warm it. This is what it looks like. It's a root of a plant. Inateso, and you later bisali. It's usually added to iteso food. It's very tasty and it smells nice. So we usually have it. We have the fresh one, and the dried one. You just add a little because you don't want the food to be so yellow. Salt now. Just add a little bit of salt. You don't put a lot of salt because remember, in your meat, when you are drying it, you also added salt. So you have to be careful with how you put the salt. The meat and the kobo cob are boiling. We are going to leave them to boil for about 30 minutes also. Then we shall come back and check if the meat is ready. Then we can add the nuts. If it's not yet ready, we shall leave it there for another 10 minutes. We have come to check on our sauce that we left boiling, and my goodness, it's looking amazing. De kukunyu laiva. Kopani abata ngasudo kule dialo. Akono kopani. Akono keda kidding. Abata ngasudo. When you're going to paste the sauce, you get odi. Emaido original paste, and you add some little water to make it at least make it a little bit liquidy, and you pour it inside our pot. You can mix a little. It's mixed up. You can also add more water to make the container. So we're going to leave it to boil for a little bit, just a little bit, like 15 to 20 minutes. Then I'll come back and then I'll remove it. But later, when it's time to serve, is when I will make the atapa, because in Tesoland we don't eat cold atapa. We eat it when it's hot. So I'll make the atapa later. The water said dear. The water written a dear. So when you're using a pot, you have to remove the sauce so that it doesn't burn, because it continues to cook because the pot is still hot. So yeah, this is our ready meal. We're going to serve it later. Alos kanenga ngona tapa, asitokhenga peduru. I already soaked the tamarind, so I have finished to press it to get out the juices. Now I'm going to add my water to the saucepan. I had already pre-boiled water so that I don't have to wait. So a little bit of water. So this atapa is going to be just plain cassava. We are going to eat it with the meat and the cocoa. So I'll add this to the water. Then I will wait for it to boil again before I start to mingle. some people like very soft atapa, but some people like the hard atapa. So it depends on your preference, on what you want to have. That is what you use to choose how you want to wimble it. So for me, I'm going to make the one that is a little bit hard. I don't cook it like posho or maize flour. Atapa gets ready instantly. So when you mingle and all the flour is, you mix all the flour, you just put it together properly and then it's ready to serve. So I have made for you people akobokob mixed with meat, atap and emuna. So you have to test and tell me how good I have done on cooking our traditional food.